Welcome all. Monday here, Longshore McKnight, kicking off a brand new week. So glad you are with us. Hope you had a great weekend. Like I said, starting out a new week. Excited about it. I am here in my home location. Barry on the road again. Hence the cat is usually a pretty good giveaway. He is not at his home base.
Yes, I am in Greenville, South Carolina, doing the show. This is my third straight show. Is it right? Wednesday, Thursday? Maybe my fourth. I don't know. Away from my home base. Troy baseball wins 2 out of 3 against Marshall. Is now 3 games over 500 in the league. Win yesterday 1-0.
Oh wow!
John would have been down at the bar by that time. Yeah. 1-0 win for the Trojans. Got on the bus in Huntington, West Virginia, and drove down here today to Greenville, South Carolina. Tomorrow we will be in Athens, Georgia.
Oh, how about that?
Troy baseball tomorrow afternoon. I think it's 2:00 Central Time start tomorrow against the Georgia Bulldogs, whom the Trojans beat earlier this year. So, then headed home finally.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Might have built a new store or something while you were gone. It's been such a long while.
It does feel like a while.
That 1-0 game, was that a 9-inning game?
It was. It was good news, bad news. The good news is that the Trojans won it.
Yeah.
And the other good news, I guess, is that it only took 2 hours and 20 minutes. That is the shortest 9-inning game I could ever remember doing. But the Trojans scored a run on a passed ball in the 3rd inning. And then
pass ball, that'll get you every time.
And that was it. That was it. So
the ball never touched the bat
to score that run. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a game.
Just bounced off the catcher's glove.
Yeah.
And there's the run. And that was the only run of the game. That was it.
That's kind of like there again, you got to be paying attention because you're not expecting that to happen. And if you're carrying on a conversation with your friends and that happens, and you hear a cheer, you go, "Well, wait a minute, what happened there? I didn't hear the crack of the bat. What happened?" Well, that catcher over there wasn't paying attention, dropped it, and guy trotted in from third base. Oh, wow, how exciting! What a way to score!
You do that, yep,
yeah.
And that was the only run of the game.
Just think if it had been a 7-inning game, it probably could have got in under 2 hours.
It probably could have.
Yeah, that's a nice concept.
The problem is if it's a 7-inning game, then one team beats another team by 10, which means a lot more runs, which means a lot more time. So
I'm just saying if baseball was a 7-inning game.
If every game was a standard 7 innings,
why not?
Is that what you're?
Yeah. Who said 9?
Random number, you mean? Just if you
pick a
random number.
And take a shot of liquor every time the inning was over, and when the bottle was empty, it went, okay, 9 innings. Allegedly, that's how they came up with 18 holes. I think that's a myth, but I've heard that story many a time. But
I got you.
Who knows? But I'm sure we'll get into a little baseball. Believe it or not, I have some baseball I want to talk about today, believe it or not.
Okay. We've got a lot on the docket. Auburn wins the series against Oklahoma. Looked very strong yesterday. They run rule Oklahoma yesterday to win the series. As we told you before, Alabama and Tennessee got started in Nashville early. They got started on Thursday.
Yeah.
And Alabama won that Thursday game. And there was rain and weather and all of this stuff in Knoxville scheduled for yesterday. And so they played a doubleheader on Friday. Yeah, listen to John. Good Lord. Well,
yeah.
I guess the good news there is that the first game of the doubleheader only went 8 innings because Tennessee run-ruled Alabama 10-0.
Yeah.
And then they beat the snot out of Alabama in the second game of the doubleheader 11-4. So Alabama loses the series against Tennessee. They're now 10-11.
What's going on there?
SEC play.
Yes, they just so much into that sweep of Auburn earlier this season that
got to. Yeah, it's not all just about Auburn.
Yeah,
it's
I'm trying
not.
to tell them.
It's not.
They'll listen one day. Well, speaking of the Braves, I guess I better go ahead and get into it.
Yeah,
I see where the Braves have won again, but if you take a closer look, which I have
to, do you have to take a closer look?
Yeah,
can't you just say, "Hey, they win"?
No, because there's more to it than that. And once again, some people say I've been harping on this for years, but to me, it is just amazing just how true it is. Not 10, 15 years ago, but currently today.
Right.
The Braves play in the absolute worst division in baseball. They are the only team above 500 in the National League's Eastern Division. And I hear this giddiness and this ballyhoo. Woo, whoopee, yay.
Oh, ballyhoo.
They're terrible.
Ballyhoo. Man, It is 7:06 in the morning, and John is hitting us with ballyhoo.
I mean, everybody in the National League Central is above 500. Three of the five in the West are above 500.
Yeah.
But only one team is above 500 in the Eastern Division of the National League. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's because the Braves are beating up on them all. I do like this. There's only two teams in Major League Baseball that have not won at least 10 games. And they're both in the National League East, and they're the Mets, who were supposed to be really good, and the Phillies, who were supposed to be really good. So I kind of like that. Those are the two worst teams in the major leagues, and they were supposed to be good. Maybe they will be later on. But Braves win. They take the game yesterday against the Phillies 6-2. If you were at a bar and somebody says, "Hey, I'll buy you a beer if you can tell me who's got the best record in Major League Baseball," you could win a Michelob Ultra, Bud Light.
Yeah.
If you said it's the, by gosh, Atlanta Braves, they have won 20 games, first team to 20.
Yeah.
They are leading the division by, what is it, 6.5 games already?
Ooh. Something like that.
What a great start for the Braves. Dodgers have won 19 games. I know. John Colquitt says you got to lose the hat. I just, when you're packing for a 7-day trip, sometimes you just throw stuff in there. This was, again, a groomsman's gift at my brother's wedding. I got a hat.
The Braves have about 200 more games to play. So as I tell all you Braves
it's 141.
141. So as I tell you, all you Braves fans, okay, be giddy now. Get all excited. Get your jerseys out and your tomahawk chops and all that kind of stuff. Because you know just as well as I do, you know it's coming. You don't want to hear it, but you know it's coming. I mean, circling the drain. And I know what I'm going to hear. Well, the injury bug got them. The bullpen's injured. The bats are cold. I've heard it every year. And it's coming. I have no doubt at all. Full confidence. Do I think the Braves will win in the World Series? No. Will they get eliminated if they make the playoffs in the first round? Yes. Will they make the playoffs? Debatable. So, okay. Have your little giddy time right now. Here it is, end of April. It's okay.
But you can't operate life that way. You can't. John's like, well, I know the stock market's going great. I know that you are, you're kicking butt and taking names at your job, your beautiful wife, but she's going to get old. I know the stocks are going great, but man, one of these days they're bound to go down. And, can't you just allow people to enjoy what is actually happening in the here and now instead of, it's not going to last?
No.
Well, as Kansas once told us, nothing lasts forever but the earth and sky. All we are is dust
Braves
and wind.
baseball to the stock market or a marriage or
your job, your work history. Yeah.
There's a history of this. I'm just not throwing stuff against the wall and see what sticks.
Oh, yeah.
There is a pattern. The Braves are choke artists. They don't live up to their expectations. All these
even if
great
it does happen,
all
can't
these
you
great
just enjoy the moment?
blah, blah, blah. It was just a couple of years ago. I mean, they make the playoffs, boom, first round, out.
Just enjoy the here
on the
and now.
Braves fans, the Brave Nation's faces. I couldn't believe it. Wait a minute. We won like 110 games in the regular, which I hear that all. Well, they won a lot. How many seasons they've won over 100 games? So what? Big deal.
All this winning, winning, schminning. Who cares about winning? The winning, big deal. Blah, blah, blah. So there is that. I feel like, in the way that we talk about sports and the actual sports, every once in a while you have to, let everybody know exactly what is happening in sports. Sometimes there's an opinion on what will happen or what's about to happen or anything like that. But every once in a while, we kind of like to start the show by saying, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what's happening. This is what we know at the moment. Not what we think, not what might. This is what we know. And right now, the Atlanta Braves are the best team in Major League Baseball.
So that and 50 cents to get your cup of coffee.
You gotta wear it.
We will
certainly wear it.
This, I'm sure, throughout this long summer, as we see the Braves start to dwindle, and it'll happen. I have full confidence in it. I'm not worried about that. What we do know, though, is that the NFL draft is wrapped up, and your favorite teams have been graded on the draft prospects that they have selected. The Jags aren't getting a lot of love with this draft.
Well, I get asked about that from my buddy Ty. Look, I'm not beating my chest. I'm not saying this out of any sense of pride or anything, but I cover a lot of college football. I am around a lot. I call a lot of games. I'm not the biggest expert on what's going on the field. I like to think I know. I like to think I have to know. But mostly I'm a names guy.
Yeah.
Like the last guy picked in the draft, Red Murdoch for the University of Buffalo, or the Bulls, where Troy played a game this year and won. Linebacker Red Murdoch. I know that guy. Okay. I saw him play. He had about 10 tackles against the Trojans.
Is his father Roger Murdoch?
No. Spells his last name differently. He was Mr. Irrelevant.
Okay.
Last pick in the draft. I've heard of him. I've heard of Mendoza, and I know who some of these guys are. This is the first time, and again, full disclosure, my team since 1995 has been the Jacksonville Jaguars. And all the guys on the bus, on the baseball bus here, we spend a lot of time on that dang bus. And they're talking about the draft and, the players they follow and everything. And they're asking me, you got one other guy, my buddy Joe, who's from Jacksonville. He's a Jags fan too, and we're talking about it. This is the first time, John, the first time since 1995 that I've been following the Jags, and they did not have a first-round draft pick. They traded it last year to get Travis Hunter in the first pick. I have not heard of a single one of these guys. Not one. Zach Durfee?
Oh, from the Durfee family. Oh, yeah.
He's kind of Durfee. Tanner Koziol?
Don't know him either.
I may have heard of the first two guys they picked from Texas A&M, and I may have heard of Albert Regis, but I may have only heard him in like a draft preview. I'm like, who the heck are these guys? What do we, had a pretty good draft last year. Of course, the Jags are the South Division champions.
Yep.
So they, 13-4 last year. So I'm happy, but I've never had it happen before. Ty asked about that. Hey, what do you think of the Jags draft? I am underwhelmed.
Ooh.
I don't know any of those guys. I have no clue.
Well, we'll get into that a little bit more. Basically the reactions that I had seen and read about the Saints draft, pretty positive. The got some players of need. So I think that should be good. Feel pretty good about that. So we'll get into that. There were also
former Auburn offensive lineman Jeremiah Wright from Selma, Alabama.
Yep.
He is a Saint.
7th round, did I see? Right? Did he?
No, 4th round.
4th round.
LSU wide receiver Barrion Brown, formerly of Kentucky. Jordan Tyson's a number 1 pick, 8th pick overall. He'll be really good if he stays healthy, but he's never healthy. Sometimes that's the thing.
So feel pretty good about
Pavia
that.
didn't get drafted at all. Did you see that tweet? Maybe it was AI or something like that, but Pavia had a big party at his house. Chips, dip. Yeah. You knew it was probably destined for difficulty because, he had a party at his house and he didn't even go to the Destin Connection Seafood Market.
What's up with that?
For his draft, he was sure he was going to get drafted. And he didn't. He's I think I read he's the first Heisman Trophy finalist to go undrafted since 2014. And my buddy on the bus was saying, the guy's a bozo. I'm thinking, he's a Heisman finalist. I remember Eric Crouch won the Heisman with Nebraska back then, and he never played a play of NFL football. That happens and all that. But Pavia, I don't know if it was, he's only a 5'9" quarterback.
And he doesn't have an agent.
Yeah. He was on that little feature with John Gruden.
Yeah.
Where Gruden goes in the film room with these guys, and he had Mendoza, he's had, all those guys. And he had Pavia, and Pavia says, man, I ain't getting no agent. I'm not having anybody advise me, and they're taking 5 to 10% of my money. I ain't having nobody taking, that's my money. And John Gruden's looking at him like, okay, all right, that's your choice, brother, and all that. Because that's a stupid thing to do, right? multi-million dollars, and Diego's going to go in there by himself and say, I want this amount guaranteed. I want this deferred off my,
Yeah.
No, kids.
Learning the hard way.
An agent. The kid's from Vanderbilt. Supposed to be smart.
Supposed to be smart. Exactly. Hey, I tell you, I got a lot going on today. A lot of discussion today on the program. At the top of hour number 2, our friend Paul Feinbaum is going to join us from ESPN and the SEC Network. Want to get Paul's take about spring football wrapping up and a lot of other college football conversation. We'll do that at the top of hour number 2. Some other weekend news that we want to get to as well today that we'll get into as well. Man, I'm telling you, all you baseball people out there, just switch the channel one day and watch a little NBA playoffs. Got to talk a little bit about that later as well.
We watched that on the bus on the way back. It was the Celtics and the 76ers. Ooh, that was a virtualized bad 76ers playing at home. Yeesh. Well, lots to get to. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's our Monday show, the last week of April already.
Is it really? No kidding. Wow.
Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a 4th location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best-looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 20 minutes past the hour on this Monday, Longshore McKnight. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends. Tell your coworkers. We really appreciate you liking and subscribing. You'll never miss any of our content, instant notifications. Of course, you can check us out on yellowhammernews.com and the Yellowhammer News Facebook page. A lot of people do that. We really appreciate it. Yep. Our Facebook page, YouTube, X, Instagram, Spotify, iTunes, so many ways to check us out, watch, and or listen. A lot of people listen through their phone, on their Bluetooth, in their automobile, wherever they may be heading around in their truck. So we really appreciate it. We see the numbers growing each and every month. We couldn't do it without you, so we appreciate it. And your support is greatly appreciated, no doubt.
Well, if you're looking at the numbers, and the consensus is, and it's right, that the Big Ten is the dominant conference anymore. Yeah. It's been a little while since Alabama won a since the SEC won a national championship in football. Big Ten's won quite a few now.
You know what? You know where the problem is, though, Barry. And I saw those numbers about the Big Ten, but there's a couple of schools that need to start pulling their weight, like the Auburn Tigers, who have had just 23 players drafted in the past 6 years. That ranks 11th among the 16 schools in this league, tied with Missouri and Kentucky. And ahead of only Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt. That's 40 draft picks behind Georgia, who leads the conference, 31 behind Alabama. Come on, Auburn. You got to get more people drafted.
And now you wonder why Georgia's won like 6 in a row in that series. Well, this past draft, is it really a thing, though? In this past draft, Auburn had 5 players drafted. The same amount as Tennessee, only 1 fewer than Notre Dame, 1 fewer than Texas, 1 fewer than Michigan. Auburn had 5 players drafted. That ain't terrible. Ohio State had 11. The record for number of players drafted from one school in one draft was 15, and that came from Georgia in 2022. This year, Ohio State had 11 players drafted. There were 2 schools that had 10 players drafted, Texas A&M and Alabama. The color evidently was not bare for the Crimson Tide, as some people would say.
You saw that in the first round.
It was not an empty
drafted early in the first round.
10 players drafted. Auburn had 5.
Which was tied for 9th in the SEC. 16 teams in the league. Auburn tied for 9th with the number of players drafted.
Alabama had 10. Texas.
9th. We all know that. They're better than 9th. They're a better program than 9th, wouldn't you say?
Alabama had 10. Texas A&M had 10. Georgia had 8. LSU had 7, Florida had 7, Oklahoma had 7, Missouri had 6.
6, wow.
Texas A&M had 6, Tennessee had 5, and Auburn had 5. Auburn had 1 more than Cincinnati. Auburn had 1 more than Arkansas.
Dang.
They had 2 more than South Carolina.
And I don't know.
I don't know.
Auburn, recruiting a lot of running backs, stockpiling running backs. You don't see a lot of running backs drafted in the NFL unless you're really special.
There you go.
The running game is a little de-emphasized, so I'm not sure all those guys are going to make it to the NFL. Who knows? Wow. But, hey, they've got it turned around. Alex Golesh is going to change those numbers, and you'll see more Auburn players walking out on the stage, bro-hugging Roger Goodell. I ain't bro-hugging Roger Goodell. I'll stick my hand out and shake him. I ain't bro-hugging and all that kind of business. Nah, that's just not for me.
I believe in slow and steady wins the race. Whether it's with Auburn rebuilding the football program, look, they're not going to just automatically, boom, have a number one recruiting class 3 years in a row and be stockpiled. It's a bit of a process. On that same line of thinking, already in the first 25 minutes of the program, John has hogged the Braves and he has needled the Aubs.
Yeah.
You got to pace yourself. I mean,
I got more.
Braves stink. Hey, and Auburn, golly, you ought to be better than you are. You got to pace yourself. You don't immediately go to post and they're off. And you go sprinting out of there and take an 8-length lead, running your horse as fast as you possibly can. You got to pace him a little bit. Braves aren't going to last, and Auburn, yeesh. Golly, we got to maybe talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs.
Why don't we talk about Kalen DeBoer reeling in yet another 5-star quarterback? How is he going to keep all these players happy? It's unreal.
I get that. I get the 5-star quarterback. The question about how he's going to keep them all happy.
Well, they only have.
That's how we got him in the first place. Well,
I mean, they've only got so many of those dollars to pass around.
I don't get it. I'm not against it. The kid's name is Elijah Haven, and he's a 5-star quarterback. Many people have him rated as the number one quarterback in the country.
Yep. From Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Here it comes. How in the world is he leaving his hometown, passing Oxford, Starkville, whoever else, and ended up in Tuscaloosa? I asked that question about a running back that went to Auburn years ago, so I think it's only fair.
He kind of liked the ring of it. He said, I kind of like the sound of this.
I think he was the number one ranked running back at the time.
Stephen Davis, and he's from just down the road from where I am right now. Well, now it's legal to pay him, even though the imputation was from John that Auburn paid him back then. This is what's interesting to me about that. This is their third straight recruiting class signing a 5-star top 4 quarterback in the country.
Yep.
Keelan Russell. Last year it was a kid, Jet Tamala from Tulsa, Oklahoma, or someplace like that. And now it's Elijah Haven.
He was from Tulsa, wasn't he?
Who's that?
Josh Jacobs. He was from Tulsa, I believe.
I think he was. Yeah. Bob. I mean, props to Kalen DeBoer. At least, at least he's getting them in. I don't know what the recruiting pitch is at Alabama other than money, because there's going to be clearer paths to the number one job to be able to play at Alabama, because he's got to beat out 2 5-star quarterbacks, both of whom are already on campus. You say, can't wait to get there. I'm not saying it's a bad decision, but Kalen DeBoer, besides the money, and money's a big part of it, obviously, he must be a heck of a recruiter, because that kid, a lot of kids would look at that. I'm a 5-star quarterback. I think I can come in and play right away.
Yeah.
But you got 2 5-star guys in front of you. Both of those guys were 2 top 5 quarterbacks in the country. I don't know. One of those 3 isn't going to play it down. One of those 3 is going to be Eli Holstein or Dylan Lonergan or, heck, Julian Sayin.
Really looking forward to getting Rodney's take on this Thursday on the brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, Rodney Ortider Insider. But that's the first thing I thought of. I mean, I'm reading about this kid, reading about his clips, height, weight, all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, only one quarterback plays. You know, you got linemen rotating, wide receivers, running backs, but you ain't doing that with quarterbacks. How are they going to keep all these kids happy? Look, maybe I should not have this. I wouldn't say it's a defeatist attitude, but you know how I think.
Yeah.
Which
Unless
one of these guys is leaving first?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of. Hey, they all might get along, all happy together, singing Kumbaya, and they all stay there together for the next 4 years. Yeah, sure, right.
Ain't none of them going to stay for 4 years. Not one. There ain't, but maybe one of them is going to stay for 3.
Ah.
And I'm not being defeatist. And I'm not even second guessing Kalen DeBoer. Man, if you can get a bunch of 5 stars, heck yeah. You know, if you like him. But man, that kid is coming in to a room stacked with talented quarterbacks and with young quarterbacks. It's not like there's a 6th-year guy and he's saying, man, he's going to be out next year. Give me a year. I'll learn under him. It's not like he's expecting to play right away. He might not play at all, you know. Man, I'm better than Tamala. I'm better than Keelan Russell. I'm going to come in and I'm going to rip this place up. And,
I don't know. I really don't know in this day and age if young athletes really care if their head coach has a multi-year contract extension or what he's making. I mean, they're hopping around and bouncing around so often. I'm just not sold that today it's, I want to go play for that coach. I don't buy that as much anymore.
I don't either.
So I'd still like to, it's kind of like, there's things out there I'd like to know, and this is one of them. What was it about Alabama that he liked over his hometown team of LSU? Lane Kiffin, they sling it around all the time. They play an exciting brand of offense. Kirby Smart's known as a fabulous recruiter, gotten talent from all over the country to come to Athens. I'm not sure who the other schools were that were interested in this young man, but those 2 in particular. What was it about Alabama that he said, you know what? That's my school. I know they got some 5 stars already up there in the quarterback room, but that's where I'm going.
Legitimate question. 2 5-star quarterbacks ahead of him. At LSU, Sam Leavitt, who is a redshirt junior, he's only going to be there 1 year. He transferred in from Arizona State. You know who else they've got at quarterback? Husan Longstreet, who's a transfer from USC. Okay, he was a 5-star. Transferred in from USC. Landon Clark, a quarterback from Elon University, the Fighting Phoenix, and Emil Picarella III. Now,
never heard of that guy.
Sam Leavitt is going to be their one and done. He's a redshirt junior, got 2 years of eligibility, may stay a year. Husan Longstreet's a redshirt freshman, a really good pickup out of USC. Other than that, Landon Clark and Emil Picarella. If the money's so much better at Alabama, I get it. But if it's relatively similar and you got your mom and dad can watch you play at home, you got a little bit of a quicker, clearer path.
I'm making a prediction, but let me phrase it this way. Would it surprise you that, 2 years from now, he's in the transfer portal and Lane Kiffin snatches him out of there? Probably already maybe planted that seed. Go to Alabama, but don't forget about us. Because when things don't go your way and you're not playing, where we are. We'd love to have you.
That is a thing. Whenever, and if you're a stand-up kid, you're calling the coaches who you've, been heavily recruited by and saying, hey, coach, I just wanted to let you know I have committed to the University of Alabama. I really appreciate your interest in me. Thanks so much for all of the love you showed me and everything, and I wish you good luck. The thing not to do is not to go smoke porterhouse on him. I tell you what, you can kiss my, you don't do that. You say, well, I'm disappointed. But just remember, if you ever need a new home, if things don't work out there, we'd love to talk with you.
Well, maybe, how about this is the way Bob from Pike Road thinks
he says,
it.
I love how he begins his sentences by naming one of us. John, Bama sold to the new 5-star quarterback. We suck at running the football.
Yeah.
At Bama, you can throw for 5,000 yards and get sacked 20 times a season.
Huh.
Yeah. Elijah Haven.
Yeah.
And I got nothing against him. He may be, way offsides Jeff, who gets around. He says, we interviewed Jet Tamala and Trent Seaborn, and they both said the same thing. They wanted to come and compete. I get
Which
that.
is great. I get that.
Yeah.
But my translation of that, Barry, is we want to compete, and then all of that experience that we're gaining and that all the competition that we go through is going to make us a better quarterback so we can transfer and go somewhere else. Hey, we were at Alabama, and we want to come play for you. I mean, should I think that way?
That doesn't sound...
Is that a defeatist attitude?
That doesn't sound illogical.
Huh.
Even now, when it's been, whatever it is, 6 years since Alabama won a national championship, they still have that aura. You look around and you see a lot of transfers from Alabama, and you think, this guy, he just made a first down catch. This guy came to Austin from Alabama, and everybody's like, ooh. Okay. Never heard of him, but hey, he's an Alabama guy. Maybe that is a thing.
On the surface, good for DeBoer. Right after the contract extension, some big news about a 5-star. It blew up on the Bottagetta Auburn message board, as well as Tider Insider as well. I saw comments on Tider Insider too. But I got to say, Bear, I was a little surprised. I mean, I heard about this kid. I knew where he was from.
I heard
recruiting him, and I thought, the quarterback room's a little crowded in Tuscaloosa. Boom. Bama phone starts dinging, buzzing, blinking. I thought, what in the world's going on? They scheduled Notre Dame for a 10-year series? What could this be about? Oh, 5-star quarterback commits to the Tide. Wow, didn't see that coming.
And I like it, the part about, he just wants to come in and compete. That's what you want. That's not the only place he can compete. But I do think that John is right about this. Look, in this day, you can come in with a mindset, look, I'm going to make some money there, make good money there. I'm going to get decent quarterback coaching, good quarterback coaching. I'm going to get on the Grubhub and he's going to, coach me up and all that. And I'm going to give it my old shot for the fabled Crimson Tide, grit and pluck and all that.
Yeah, pluck and grit.
But nowadays, they're thinking, hey, if I get in and it's really, really hard, and those guys are like super good and they're as good as me for the first time in my life, I can always just transfer somewhere, play somewhere else the next year. That's
and of course maybe one of these quarterbacks gets injured. That certainly could happen too. I don't think you go into it looking that way, but that could happen. Barry, I hate to put you on the spot, but Dennis wants to know if you shared your text with me. I'm not sure you did, but if you did, I don't want to throw you under the bus.
We've already talked about the Jags and the Saints already. He says he'll look a little bit later on. Dennis, I have been on the road for so long. Okay.
Was it about a wrestler or what was it? What am I missing?
All right. Do you want me to, again, the punctuation, spot on.
Okay.
This is from Friday morning.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Barry, on YouTube. James Romero, the producer and co-host, Dutch Mantel's Story Time with Dutch. On James' YouTube, he went after Ric Flair because Rick insulted James and defended himself on James Romero channel YouTube. That's your homework assignment from me. Watch it when you get a chance. And go Troy against Marshall this afternoon. Thank you, Dennis Mitchell. I did not share that.
John, kind of a slow weekend around here. I could have probably carved off a couple of hours and watched those YouTube videos if that would have been forwarded to me.
So we'll throw it out there.
Yep.
We'll throw it out there for those of you, and including John. Go to YouTube and so many of you are on it already right now because of Longshore and McKnight.
Yeah.
And go to the James Romero channel. I guess search James Romero, Dutch Mantel, Ric Flair.
Okay.
And watch those videos and tell us what you think. That's what Dennis said on Friday. So that's the text from Dennis.
Yeah. We're on top of it, Dennis. We appreciate it. You keep those texts coming, Dennis. Our man Robbie from Greenville. Shouldn't he be chiming in with the Braves having the success that they're having in the worst division of Major League Baseball? Is everything okay down there in Greenville? Robbie?
I hope.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's all good because your Braves are starting off in
really well. Really well.
Yeah.
Really
better than the Birmingham
well.
Stallions are doing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, when we come back, there was another sporting event over the weekend that really pretty much went unnoticed. At least it was for me. We'll talk a little bit about that when we return as well. Don't forget, in about 20 minutes, Paul Feinbaum will join us here on the program. Always appreciate Paul carving off a little time for us. But we got your thoughts and comments as well on the River Region Straw chat line. Keep them coming. Email longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com.
Yeah, I was going to get to this a little bit later on, but yeah, my buddy Dudley, Myson Johnson Cook commits to Auburn. 4-star out of East St. Louis, Missouri, top 50 player nationally, came down to Auburn in Miami, big physical back, excited about that guy that can kind of, control the run game, maybe a big play now and again, but mostly just lean on
where
it.
you get that information. I'd read where he was a 3-star, but what's a 3 or a 4? Did hear it was Miami, Kentucky, and others. That's kind of like the load more button. It came down to Kentucky, Miami, and others. Well, who are others?
For those newbies on the program who are checking out Longshore and McKnight, if you detect a little bit of a different approach from each of us determining, what happens at each particular school, Barry pumping up, Elijah Haven, 5-star, And when we mention an Auburn guy, immediately it's like, oh, I hear this. That's the way it's always been. It's never been any different. And look, here we are where we are with the success we've had so far.
I did use the same analogy of this Alabama 5-star quarterback that I used for an Auburn running back 25 years ago. So I just want to, fair is fair. I've got my doubts.
That 5-star Auburn running back that was a longtime starter in the NFL, and yet all you hear from John is, Auburn must have paid him to get him to come to Auburn. Yeah, that's John's source of pride there.
Use that verbiage. Maybe enticed him to come to Auburn was the way I probably expressed it. You had to be careful back then. You didn't want to make statements that could get you in trouble.
Yeah, this is old Walter Cronkite Longshore over here with the journalistic integrity. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. All righty, about 15 minutes to the top of the hour. We appreciate you checking us out. We're live every weekday from 7 until 9 a.m., but certainly folks check us out throughout the day and the night. We greatly appreciate that. That's the beauty of this format. You watch and listen on your schedule, so we really appreciate that. Barry, I don't get it. Talladega had a race yesterday.
Knew it.
I didn't know they were racing until I saw a promo on Fox Friday during, I guess it was during Cowherd show. And I went, wait a minute, Talladega's this week? Kind of snuck up on me a little bit and didn't hear any promotion, any advertising for it. I don't know if they sell it out. They don't need to advertise or promote it. I don't know. Number 3 child was over there yesterday. I think it was his first visit to town. I think it was his first NASCAR race for that matter.
Hey, but, okay.
It kind of surprised me. There used to be a big talk about it back in the day. And it just goes back to, I think NASCAR, ever since the death of Dale Earnhardt, has just kind of slowly, the interest has not been there.
Well, let me make sure I get this right. The winner is Carlton Hocevar. And again, I knew they were doing it. Carson Hocevar, first career NASCAR win. Does it really count when you had like 36 cars get knocked out? No, 26.
Yeah.
There were 40 cars right at the beginning. I mean, right at the front of the field. I guess it was lap 115, which feels like it's right at the beginning. Bubba Wallace was leading. Ross Chastain, which sounds like my accountant, bumped him a little bit. Then he bumped right in front of Cole Custer. And everybody's fine. Everybody's okay. Yeah. It's not bad. But there were 26 cars knocked out after lap 115. Only 14 cars finished. And Hocevar was one of them. He got injured. He didn't get knocked out. I mean, his car got banged around a little bit, got damaged. But, guys like Daniel Suarez, William Byron, Eric Jones, Shane Van Gisbergen, and I'm thinking, who are these guys? I'm like John, I used to couldn't name them. David Pearson, Cale Yarborough. This is from 60 years ago. Yeah. Lenny Pond, Tiny Lund, all of those guys. Now I'm looking at who in the heck is William Byron?
Yeah, there's some names that I'm not familiar with on the NASCAR circuit. You have a crash of that magnitude, it's going to probably enhance your chances quite a bit. Half the field is out. But I just thought it was interesting. I saw the promo for it, and I'm thinking, man, really? Talladega's this weekend? Where's the buildup? Where's the hype? You just don't see it anymore. I don't get it. What's happening?
Yeah,
I think Fox had it, maybe FS1, maybe the Fox main channel, but
yes,
they were doing UFL football, or maybe somebody else is doing it. But I just thought that was interesting. A big race here in the state, not a lot of talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the interest level of NASCAR is these days.
My buddy Dudley, he says, I love NASCAR. Still have a binder full of all the tickets my dad had to races back in the 80s and 90s. Dudley, I remember your dad. Bless his heart.
The answer, Barry.
Yep, his dad's name's Warner, and he was a really good guy, Dudley. I remember.
Mullet toss was this weekend. Yeah, you got to split your time. I'm either going to Talladega or the mullet toss. Can't go to both.
Oh, since you bring that up.
Yeah.
sitting there at the press box, filling out my lineups and stuff, and they're playing the same old music all the time. Everybody does at a baseball game. And they had a country music song called Floribama.
Kenny Chesney. It's a Kenny Chesney tune.
I'm sitting here listening to it, and it's like Floribama. It's like Woodstock or something like that. You know, I'm thinking, wait a minute. There's a country music song, and it is all about Floribama. You know, sawdust on the floors and cold beer in your hand or whatever, you know. I'm thinking, and you know, I've been to Talladega. I ain't never been to the Floribama. I don't even know. I mean, could you like get it on Apple Maps and say, hey, directions to the Floribama? And I don't even know where it is. I know it's on the line. I do know that.
Well, it's right there. Sure. It's right there on the, I guess that's Gulf Boulevard, I guess.
But is that like the icon? All I know about the Floribama really is that Kenny Stabler used to throw mullet out there.
Kalen DeBoer's thrown mullet out there. Jalen Milroe threw mullet there.
Have you thrown mullet at the Floribama, John?
I've never thrown a mullet. Never thrown a mullet in my life. And Kenny was at the Floribama a week ago. I might have mentioned it. The same weekend, Morgan Wallen concert in Tuscaloosa, Kenny popped into Floribama, which he's been known to do, to have kind of a little warm-up act, if you will, as he prepares to launch his world tour, which I believe is again out in Vegas at the Sphere. And he was there doing a show at the Floribama, which he's been known to do before. And if you go to YouTube and just type in Kenny Chesney Floribama, the video is all done at the Floribama for that song. So, yeah.
I mean, is the Floribama nice? Is it, you know, a dive? Is it?
Dive. They do have a church service on Sundays at the Floribama, but it's a dive, and it's a
I bet they have the sermon with the fishes and the loaves and all about the Sermon on the Mount.
You walk out the front door, you're looking at the Gulf of America. You come out the back door, which is the street side. You can walk across that, and there's Little River, or Old River, excuse me, which is part of the intercoastal in the Bay Area back there. You can come up by boat, go by car. You can come up on the Gulf if you want to, but it's just one of those dives that have been there forever. Technically, the bar is in the state of Florida.
Is it one of those things that, like so many things, is kind of culturally appropriated by Bama fans? They think it's theirs, kind of like Keith Jackson, or
but you can see
the band Alabama. Auburn fans can't like the band Alabama because number one, it's named Alabama. Number two, they keep playing that god-awful song.
What about that car tag? It's got Alabama on the top of the car tag that they
but you got it.
Car.
I mean, is it one of those things where it's like, you're not a Bama fan if you hadn't gone to the Floribama or something like that? I don't know.
So I think in the last time I went by there, I noticed it, and next time I do, I'll make a point to look. There was a sign, state line, and man, it was right there. So technically it is in the state of Florida. I guess all their taxes and business licenses and all that type of stuff are done through the state of Florida. But it is right there on the line. There's no doubt about it. And I guess they probably wanted to be in Florida because liquor prices are cheaper. Just think about how much liquor they've poured at the Floribama and how much money they have saved purchasing their liquor in Florida instead of Alabama. Like
so Carson.
How much money have I saved doing the same thing?
Yeah, but just you're talking volume, though. I'm talking about per visit. So Carson Hocevar wins Talladega, and we get caught up in the Floribama. That's kind of what happens every once in a while here.
It's amazing. That's why you got to pay attention.
I've never been to the Floribama. If somebody said, "Hey, Barry, do you even know where it's close to?" I know it's on the line. That's it.
Yeah.
Is it near Florala? I don't think so. I've been to Florala a million times.
Yeah.
Is it Flomaton? Is it Loxley?
This is Perdido Key is probably where is the best way to
okay.
describe where it is located.
Robertsdale?
That would be the easiest spot. And, of course, there's another great place down that area, Barry, that I frequent is Pirates Cove, which is technically in Josephine is the community that it's in. And you walk in that place, it's a dive. There's no doubt. It's old school. You can come you can come by boat or you can go by car.
Right.
You might walk in there to get a cold beer and get a cheeseburger, and you look in the kitchen and go, is that a dog in the kitchen? Probably is a dog in the kitchen. So you just, you just live like
he's
they live in that
sleeping, he's not over there, in the middle of all the food or anything like that, because that would be gross. Oh, no.
Yeah, the dog's walking around all over the place, and it's quite a scene.
Yeah,
it's quite a scene. You see a little bit of everything there, which is what makes this state so great.
Well, what makes this program?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
so great. You never know. When we come back, we'll get cleared out quick and get ready for the second hour. Paul Feinbaum will start our second live hour in a moment. John is at his home studio. I am in Greenville, South Carolina. It's Longshore McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is Central Alabama's best-known jewelry store. Their location at 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree is conveniently located adjacent to Chappie's Deli. At Marguerite's, they have every jewelry item imaginable because they make it. They really make it. From rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and much, much more. Marguerite's can also repair, clean, and rework any jewelry item that you want to bring back to life. Whether you're on a budget or have no budget at all, Marguerite's has all types of jewelry for everyone. Go by and see them today or call 270-0074. The Montgomery Regional Airport is getting better the more you use it. MGM offers multiple nonstop daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Washington's Reagan National Airport via Delta and American Airlines. And beginning this April, MGM will offer daily nonstop flights to Houston's Intercontinental Airport via United Airlines. All of these cities offer easy connections to destinations all over the country and all over the world. Make travel more cost-effective and less stressful when you utilize your Montgomery Regional Airport. MGM, you can get there from here.
The Declaration of Deal sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokee's over 11 grand offers 0% for 5 years. Encompasses 5 grand off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The Declaration of Deal sales event is on at Stivers. New Ram, 16 grand off for 0% financing. And heavy duties, 13 grand off with Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Okay, back at it, a couple of minutes to the top of the hour on this Monday. So glad you are with us here today. Paul Feinbaum scheduled to join us here in a couple of moments. Looking forward to that as always. A lot going on this week. Tom Luganville is going to join us tomorrow on the program. Also from ESPN, their college football, one of their college football analysts. We'll always get a spring recap with Lugs as well. So we're looking forward to having Tom on the program tomorrow, some other special guests throughout the remainder of the week as well. So we got a lot going on this week here on the program. How much do we have? Like 2 more weekends of regular season college baseball? How much longer is this going on?
I know Troy, for instance, we've got 4. 4? Yeah, 4 sounds about right. All the way around, the month of May, we're on the cusp of it. The month of May is pretty large, pretty significant in college baseball because everybody is coming down the stretch. I know Troy has got, maybe it's 3 more weekends that are left. So, we're getting down to that point and have established the pretenders and the contenders and all of that. And again, the SEC looks like an absolute dogfight. It really does. Right now in the SEC, in baseball, a lot of the teams that you always figure are, the mainstays, they're not doing great. Florida, the defending national champion, is 11-10. LSU is in the, can I say crapper? Yeah. LSU is not doing well. They are next to last in the league. LSU is 6-15.
Well, Barry, they spent all their money on their football and basketball coaches. They don't have any money left.
And on their football and basketball rosters.
Yeah.
Evidently. Leading the league right now, and I'll be there tomorrow, the Georgia Bulldogs.
How about that?
They're 15-6. They've lost 11 games all year. One of those 11 losses was to Troy. Trojans play them tomorrow afternoon. Georgia's won. Auburn is in 5th by themselves. Not bad. 3 games out of first. People thought Auburn was really struggling, but they've won 30 games. Alabama has won 29 games, but they're 10-11 in the league. They're 2 back of Auburn, for gosh sakes. Vanderbilt's always good, but Vanderbilt's in 10th place. So all of the ones that you realize or you think are always at the top of the standings, not necessarily so this year in the SEC.
Got to be paying attention. Hey, we're glad to bring in our good friend Paul Feinbaum of ESPN and the SEC Network. Always like to check in with Paul after spring football wraps up to get some thoughts. Paul, good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. I apologize for this thing looking so upside down, but my computer just went out on me, so I was scrambling. I don't know if I need to turn this thing sideways, upways. Okay.
You're perfect. Looks great.
You're all good. Paul, was it a gamble? And if so, how much of a gamble? And what were the dynamics behind Alabama extending Kalen DeBoer's contract? It feels like it came out of nowhere.
Well, it did and it didn't. I always hate to answer a very simple question with a convoluted answer because that happens to me a lot. But I think you have to go back to December. I believe very strongly this deal was done the week of the Oklahoma game, and it's pretty obvious. Everybody knows what was on the other side of that game with Michigan. The firing of Sharon Moore had happened right before that. So I think what Greg Byrne was trying to figure out is, okay, if he wins this game, we have him because he's stuck with us now for the Rose Bowl and he can't take the Michigan job. But if he loses, he might bolt. And Greg Byrne, sounds like a Shakespeare play, will then have to go find a coach. Now, who's available? Summerall's gone. Goish is gone. Everybody is gone. And I don't think he really wanted to do it. So he worked on the extension. DeBoer said, why not? The mistake, I think, if there was a mistake, and I think it was giving away the store on the back end. Having just watched James Franklin, Brian Kelly, and of course, Jimbo Fisher, why do you have to guarantee 90%? If you guarantee 60%, is Kalen DeBoer going to leave at only $45 million or whatever the number is? And I just think that was fiscally irresponsible. I think it's a typical AD panic move in that regard. I mean, we don't need to litigate Jimmy Sexton because it's already been done, but Alabama is now stuck. And I think if you want to chisel this down one more layer, guys, the one thing that Alabama did for Kalen DeBoer is they made him more unpopular by this move. And because, I mean, you guys hear from fans. I mean, I heard from them immediately on our show on Wednesday, and it was universally negative. Now you get, Barry, you hang out at the country clubs like John, and you're going to deal with a different sort of cat who go, we like Kalen DeBoer, and we think, and John, tell me if you haven't heard this at the club over the weekend, he's doing a good job, and we like what he represents. I heard the same things about Bill Curry in 1987, by the way.
Wow.
But I think that's where we are, and I know I haven't given you a very good answer.
No.
Would I have done this? No, I wouldn't have mortgaged the future of my athletic department on a guy who has yet to prove very much, but I understand why Greg Byrne did.
Paul, so what I found interesting is we all knew a week, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks prior, a list of assistant coaches that were up for a contract extension and a raise, mostly football. Some other sports were involved. Kalen DeBoer's name was not on that list. I am listening to your show last week. It is 3:15. I think you came back from a break and you're announcing Kalen DeBoer is on the docket today. In 15 minutes, you come back and say, it's done, signed, sealed, approved. Why the secrecy? Why sticking it in there so at the last moment? To me, it kind of gave the impression that Greg Byrne was trying to hide something or kind of slide it in there with nobody noticing it.
My, John, you've broken the code. Exactly. Greg Byrne is really smart, and he knew if that had been out there, you might have had some fine bum callers showing up with signs. I mean, I don't know, but it was a very, very political move there by Greg Byrne, and he knew there would be criticism on the back end. And John, we were talking about this in December on this show, in January. Yeah. This has always been there, but I just think it's a very bad look. And all of a sudden, DeBoer. I mean, we can debate DeBoer. Is he a good coach? Yes. Is he a good image of the program? Yes. Did Morgan Wallen want him to walk out with him a week? No, absolutely not. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you'd have to go by. You have to get some 80-year-old country music star to want to walk out with Kalen DeBoer. I mean, he's just not going to move the needle. I have been, as you guys have, at the same place with Kalen DeBoer and Nick Saban, and we all know the difference. One's a rock star, and one's a very good football coach that came to Alabama from Washington. And as long as the image of Nick Saban exists at Alabama, and it does every day because he is present at a lot of events, and he's on national TV every Saturday, Kalen DeBoer has the same problem.
As a coach, though, and this is what Alabama fans' ultimate litmus test is, can he win a national championship, Paul?
I will not equivocate, Barry, with that answer. No, I don't believe he can. I don't believe Kalen DeBoer is going to win a national championship at Alabama. That doesn't mean all the things that I've already said, but he just doesn't look like he has that critical DNA. And I'm sure somebody out in Seattle is going, hey, are you aware that Kalen DeBoer played for the? Yes, I think we all saw the game a couple of years ago, but I just don't think that's going to happen in this current existence that we have in college football.
Paul, you brought up a name that I've been wanting to ask you about because I thought the exact same thing, and I've heard you reference it several times over the last couple of months. What happened with John Summerall and Auburn?
How long do we have?
Take your time.
Yeah.
Well, and I answer this knowing that both of you know John Summerall better than I do. But we all know the same people. And I just think John Cohen, who felt very comfortable and confident that he had John Summerall locked down, decided to get cute. And, it started, I think, with DJ Durkin, which is understandable. He did a commendable job in managing the mess left behind by the previous guy. And why he played games, I don't know with money, but I really should be asking you guys. But I think that's my best answer. And he gambled and he lost. And John Summerall looked at this and said, is that where I want to go? Meanwhile, Florida is desperate. They just literally get left at the altar by Lane Kiffin. They have a little more money, and quite frankly, I think our Florida was a little hungrier, knowing that Steve Stricker, not Steve Stricker, the golfer, but Scott Strickland, the AD, had just wasted an entire year propping up Napier, who was never going to be successful. And he saw Summerall out there, and Summerall's there, and suddenly everybody's feeling better about themselves. And I don't know Goish well. I like what I've seen, but I have interviewed Summerall a couple of times. And guys, let me tell you what you already know. I mean, he's a killer. Yeah. He's just cold-blooded. I could just hear Pat Dye just chuckling, man. If he was the Auburn football coach, he would love him.
So when this was brewing, and my Alabama friends were talking about it, they didn't want Auburn. They didn't want any part of John Summerall at Auburn. That scared them. They didn't want any, because you're right. They thought this is another Pat Dye clone coming in. Golesh doesn't give them that feeling. Now, he might end up being great, but they did not want John Summerall at Auburn.
Goish is great with messages and motivation, and he looks good on TV, and he sounds great, and his backstory. But no, and we'll find out the third weekend in September. I think that's going to be a pretty important game. And if Auburn wins the game, it's not going to wreck John Summerall's career. But if Florida wins that game at Auburn, it's going to be a big blow, especially if Auburn has already blown that Baylor game, which John Cohn sold his own fan base out by moving to Atlanta.
Agreed. Do you see anything? Have you ever seen anything about any spring game ever that has ever once even minutely swayed your opinion about a team, its prospects, or its future?
No, but what spring games have often done is that they give fans, whether it's a false sense or a sense of security, because and I like the spring game because a lot of the folks that are watching us right now or listening can't afford the tickets in the fall. So they take their kids and they think they know something. So they spend the rest of the fall, the rest of the spring and summer talking about what they saw. So I like that aspect of it. But I think we're at a good place right now where nobody takes them seriously. They're nothing more than an event just to get people to show up. But the game's significant. I mean, there was a time I remember I was with Nick Saban about 10 years ago. I spent a day and a half with him traveling around, and on one of the flights we took, he was actually watching the Auburn spring game. So as recently as 10 years ago, coaches thought there was something to be found there because only a guy like Saban would be watching a spring game to maybe pick up a nuance that would. This was by the way, this was post kick six, not pre kick six.
Oh, wow.
So it was 2 years later, but I don't think anybody's watching them anymore for clues. No.
Well, if they want to spice up the spring games, Paul, they need to invite the two of us back to be celebrity coaches like they did years ago. And man, the place went crazy. They loved things like that.
They did. We had 95,000 people, Barry. And the thing that always irritated me about that game, John, if you remember, the game ended. It was on ESPN.
Yep.
The game. It was right after the national championship. The game ended in a tie. And TV went off the air to go to another spring game, and our team won. And I'm like celebrating, and everybody said, "Hey, man, good game. Sorry, we ended in a tie." I said, "We won." You know, like it's like when you, it's like John, you're out just on a Tuesday afternoon knocking some balls around, and you go to the fourth hole and you make a hole in one, and you run back and tell the pro, and he goes, "Who are your witnesses?" You go, "I was just kind of out there by myself." And he said, "Well, sure you were."
Yeah. Paul, is there a common thread? Is there any sort of a consistent approach in anything LSU is doing in terms of hiring coaches or anything like that? Is this just LSU saying, the heck with it all, we're going to do what we want to do and darn the consequences?
That's exactly what's going on, but LSU's always been like that. It's one of the few, it's not the only, but it's one of the few SEC schools that's a standalone. They're not sharing the state with anybody else. And I think the biggest change at LSU is not Lane Kiffin. It's the governor. This guy, Jeff Landry, has decided that he is Huey Long 2.0. And for you young folks out there, Google
Look it up.
And he's the kingmaker. And by the way, I'll make you a prediction.
Hey, Edwin Edwards wasn't half bad either, Paul.
No, he wasn't. He was close. But I never thought Edwin cared as much about LSU football as he did the Saints.
Yeah.
Because the New Orleans was closer to the casinos. But I'll make you a prediction.
Okay.
You once asked me about politics, and I said I never get involved in politics. A year from now, if Auburn football is struggling, expect the new governor to do the same thing Jeff Landry is doing. He is going to run the Auburn. Goish is not going to any longer answer to John Cohn. He's going to be answering to Governor Tuberville.
Did not think about that for sure. Are you on the Lane train? Is that a good fit? Will he win a chance? Oh, and if not LSU, who in the SEC right now?
Yeah.
Would you kind of?
I mean, I'm not on the Lane train to win it this year, but I do think they're a legitimate playoff team. They've got a good quarterback. They've got a lot of compliments. They've got the biggest budget this side of Jerry Jones, so they are in good shape. But I'm really interested in the SEC this year because there are two absolutes, and after that, there's a second tier. The absolutes are Georgia and Texas.
Yes.
And then where do you go next? I mean, I think Texas A&M is a safe pick. Do you trust Trinidad Chambliss with a new coach? Is Alabama good enough? Tennessee doesn't look like they're good enough to me. So you start Oklahoma. I mean, there's just a bunch of them who will be vying now for it. And some of it's going to depend on that ninth SEC game. What does it mean? Right now, if you talk about Alabama, I think they have the easiest schedule they could have gotten. But they don't have to play Oklahoma or Texas, which to me is a tremendous advantage. But some of the schedules are just going to be. Is Tennessee going to be good? If they're average, then that's a win for maybe Alabama. Where if Tennessee is good, it's a loss. Just stuff like that really will matter.
Paul, last week there was a lot of talk. Once again, more talk, less action about postseason. 24 seems to be a number I'm hearing a lot more about than I did in the past months. Is that where we're heading, to a 24-team playoff?
Yes. For the first time in memory ever, people within the SEC are going against their own commissioner.
Yeah.
He's adamant for 16, but what happened was a year ago when the SEC somewhat ramrodded in this new 9-game playoff against the coach's wishes. They expected the CFP to go immediately to 16 games and 16 teams, and it didn't happen. So there's a lot of anger in the league, and 24 looks like a way for self-preservation. Although it just seems ridiculous for an 8-4 team to go to the playoffs. I mean, we said this at 4, but some years there weren't 4 good teams to go to the playoffs.
Right.
There aren't 12. There certainly aren't going to be 24.
You mentioned Greg Sankey, Paul. I got the highest respect for him, but I get the feeling that he's kind of losing traction a little bit, because I get it. He wants it this way. He's got the most powerful league, or had at one time. And it seems like everybody else is just saying, that isn't what we want, and you need to get on board with us.
Well, I saw somebody send me something today, said the Big Ten's better than the SEC. Now, look, the SEC had more draft picks than the Big Ten. Now, you guys, tell me who cares about that. I mean, we as the SEC have lost 3 straight championships, haven't been in one. And if that happens again, what happens on the final Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of April is not going to make any difference.
Yeah.
I think so. So back to Sankey, I think some of the image of the league has taken a hit. The Big Ten filibustered and didn't let Sankey go to 16 without a deal to go to 24. And I think there's just been so much politics involved. Who's running college athletics? I mean, the president's got a commission hired. You got the NCAA president. You got Sankey. You got Petiti, and really nothing ever gets done. So I think some of the people in the league, and that's the problem when you have 16 members. They're getting antsy, and back to, why did Greg Gurn do what he did? It's self-preservation. The AD in Texas is not concerned about kumbaya. He's concerned about making sure his team gets in the CFP every year.
So, in wrapping up with you, Paul, I wanted to end it with this. The NIL is a story that never dies. Where, in your mind, are Auburn and Alabama in the NIL hierarchy?
I think they're in good shape, not great shape. I keep hearing conflicting stories about Alabama, because you've heard Burn, you've heard others talk about they're going on the cheap. I had an agent on our show a couple of weeks ago who said that Alabama's still trying to get that Saban discount, and they're losing. Now, as soon as you hear something like that, you watch and see they just got the number 1 quarterback in next year's class. But amazingly, the complaint I hear about Alabama is that they're spending more time on high school players than they are the portal. where you and I both know that you make the quickest jump with a quarterback in the portal. That's just look at the last couple of national championships. I think Auburn is aligned very well right now. Can they stay aligned? I think is always the question down there.
Paul, as always, thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy, and we really appreciate you carving out a few minutes for us. We'll do it again soon. Looking forward to seeing you later this summer down in Tampa. And as always, thank you, my friend.
Always great. See you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Paul Feinbaum, always provocative. He always says some things that I hadn't thought about before. I'm like, that makes sense. When he talks about the Saban discount, I'm just going to let everybody know. I like the ring of that. You may hear me say that a couple of times more this spring, this summer, this fall. The Saban discount. Hey, we can't pay as much in NIL, but, Nick Saban's around. And the NFL draft guys like him. And that's not the only thing. He always says several things that you think, that makes a lot of sense that have not occurred to the vast majority of us, at least at some point. So, good stuff always.
Just the DeBoer contract's interesting, and we've talked about it, Barry. I mean, if Alabama goes 8-4 in the regular season, these fans are going to be screaming. You know it as well as I do. They've got to eliminate the 20-point losses. Does 8-4 and the 4 losses are by a combined 6 points going to go over any better? Probably so, but it's still not going to be good enough.
It's going to be better, but not the best. Our program director, Chris the Bammer, he says phantom after the break. Okay, appreciate you, Chris.
Yeah,
Chris is sitting back there in Loxley with his feet on the on the stool, saying, "All right, you guys do this, you guys do this." Then you go, "Hey, spin!" We gotta keep the masses happy. That's coming up. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitcher's duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get Truck Month deals on more than trucks at Stivers Ford of Montgomery. Explorers for $13,000 off. Broncos $12,000 off. Expeditions $10,000 off. And Bronco Sports $9,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Ford Truck Month is bigger and better at Stivers Ford of Montgomery. Take advantage of 0% APR on Super Duties, Lightnings, and F-150s. F-150s, $18,000 off. Super Duties, $2,000 under invoice. And Lightning, $16,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
23 minutes past the hour. So glad you're with us here today. On this Monday, it is the Phantom's Daily Dog segment. So without further ado, Barry, we had a winning week. Just to let everybody know, we were going into Friday with a guaranteed winning week.
That is irrefutable, backed up by facts. It was a winning week last week.
It was. So we go into Friday.
Yeah.
3 up, 1 down.
Looking to put the hammer down on the man.
Yep. We go to Philadelphia.
Yep.
The 76ers hosting the Celtics. There's just really no way to sugarcoat this. I mean, it's kind of like waking up the morning of the prom and you got a big shiny zit on your face.
You're like, oh,
Man,
because
really?
Because no matter what you do, it still ain't going to look good on the prom.
No,
I mean, there ain't no
good.
miracle cure.
And that's kind of like how Friday night went. We got Philadelphia at home behind, needing to kind of, have a good effort. And we're thinking they should be able to handle the 7.5 that they're getting.
7.5, remember.
Yeah.
7.5, very important number if you're just referencing this long and heart-rending story of epic woe and tragedy from John. Just remember this as reference. 7.5.
7.5. 7.5. It reminds me of a story many years ago when the Phantom was first starting out. And
that was many years
many years ago. And actually it was used in a winning scenario, but point is still valid.
Yes.
Well, you barely covered. And my response was, that's kind of like being barely pregnant.
Either you are
or you're not.
Or you are not.
And in
7.5, for instance.
Barely lost. Look, we could have lost by 70. It's still the same
outcome. 7.5 will never, ever be 8.
So, Barry, I did not have the heart to go back and get a clip to see maybe how the last 20 seconds of the game played out. Was there an erroneous shot that didn't need to be attempted by the Celtics that went in? Possibly. Were there some free throws by the 76ers that could have been made that could have gotten us over the 7.5? Maybe.
You know what would have gotten them over the 7.5? One free throw.
Yeah.
One.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to go. I've moved on. And that's the thing about this little thing we do. You got to move on. Win or lose, you got to move on.
The Friday Daily Dog was the Celtics and the 76ers in the NBA playoffs. It was Philly plus 7.5.
Yeah.
Final score, Celtics 108, Sixers 100. That's an 8-point game there.
Any way you skin it.
And the line was 7.5.
Yeah. It just, it's kind of like you walk into that English professor's, hey, can I just get 1/2 of a point more? No, you can't. No.
I'll clap erasers. And if I can make cookies.
Yeah.
So moving on. 3-2 week last week.
Yeah, winning week.
Winning
week.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going tonight, Barry, back to the association. Another fabulous triple header. 2 of these games are on NBC. One of them is on NBC Sports Network. They're all 3 on Peacock.
Yes.
Wherever that is.
Yes. Starting at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. 7 o'clock. Detroit at Orlando.
8:30, it's the Thunder and the Suns.
Uh-huh.
And at 9:30, it's the Timberwolves at Denver.
That series, Barry, could be wrapped up by this evening because Minnesota holds a 3-1 lead over Denver, but the game is in Denver where the Nuggets are a 10.5-point favorite. We're not looking there. Nor are we looking at the first game where Orlando leads the series 2-1 over Detroit. Detroit's on the road tonight.
We're going to Tobias country.
Yeah, Tobias, listen up. We're in the desert of the midnight sun, I think is what it is.
I think that was a song by the Animals.
I think it might have
No,
been.
that was the Rising Sun. Anyway, all right, yeah.
Something about New Orleans, too, in there.
Yeah.
It is game 4, Barry, of this series between OKC and Phoenix.
Phoenix is yet to win a game. And you know what? They might not win tonight. You know, be okay if they did at home, got the crowd
That's
down
not
3-0.
That's not the prediction. The prediction is not the Suns will stave off elimination with an outright win at home against the top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder. As a matter of fact, if you really pressed the Phantom on it, he couldn't give two toots whether Phoenix wins the game outright.
But if you're making me take a position on it, I guess it'd be kind of nice if they won. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no big deal about that.
Yeah.
But we don't want to get greedy. If they win, great. But they're catching 11.5 at home. Can you at least give the fans something in your last game possibly of the year? I mean, you don't want to go out, roll the balls up and watch the uniforms getting blown out by 25. You want to at least say, hey, man, we hung with these guys. They only beat us by 4. Okay. So we're grabbing the 11.5 at home with the Phoenix Suns against OKC. Tobias, let me know what you think. Am I completely off my rocker, or can they keep it within the number? I say they can. Take the Suns plus the points against the Thunder tonight, 8:30. This is on NBCSN.
Yes.
Or Peacock.
Or Peacock. Yeah, which is what I would be watching it on. There you go.
So that
is our Phantoms Daily Dog. Let's take a break. Another segment before we hit up the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. You mentioned this as well, and I think it bears repeating. Luke's tomorrow.
Yeah, Tom Luganbill at 8, 24 hours from now. He'll join us at bottom of hour number 2 on the show. So we're looking forward to getting Luke's spring recap.
Coming up. I'm looking forward to that as well. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information. The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 27 minutes to the top of the hour. You know, Barry, one of the things I love about this profession is there's some things that have happened over the 30-plus years that I thought, I find that really interesting. I feel confident that I have a good feeling about how it went down or some of the particulars of how a situation played out. Not exactly 100%, but
right.
Feel, like, I could see it maybe happening that way. And I've got a list of things that one day I hope to find out the exact true story of it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them involves Nick Saban. I'm going to get to that in just a moment again. But
Chelsea Clinton ran in the Boston Marathon. Chelsea's got to be about 50 now or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, she ran in the Boston Marathon. She finished it and everything. Props to Chelsea Clinton. And they had a post-race selfie of Chelsea and Bill and Hillary. They're old.
They are old, Barry, but if you notice something else, and I know where you were going with this about, are Bill and Hillary still married? Neither one of them wears a wedding ring. Just saying. Just saying.
Don't they?
Just saying.
Why would you not wear a wedding ring?
Just saying. But where I'm leading with this is,
anyway, all right.
Tobias says OKC covers the 10.5. Oh, thanks, Tobias. Ouch. I want to know what happened with John Summerall. I want to know why John Cohen just didn't say whatever you want. I mean, I got to tell you, look, I don't know Alex Golesh very well. Don't know John Summerall obviously as well as you do, Barry, being around him as much as you were. But, know him, know of him, know his style. And I said it to you when this was happening. Bama fan does not want Auburn to hire John Summerall. That is not who they want over there. To me, it was a layup. I'm thinking, this is your guy. What happened? I don't know if we'll ever know. I mean, Summerall kind of, needled him a little bit, at his opening press conference in Gainesville. You got to think Summerall really wants to beat Auburn in week 3 or 4, whenever it is this fall. But I want to know. I want to know what happened.
I've got a confession to make, and I've not told you this. I've not told really much of anybody this, but this is true. This did happen. John Cohen called me.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a hotel room somewhere, and he called me, and I like John Cohen. We talked for and that's why he was calling me, was to ask me a couple of questions about John Summerall. And the only reason why I'm saying that, I mean, I didn't have any effect on anything. He called me. We talked for about 20 minutes, and he was very thorough. My only point is that if he's talking to me, and obviously, I've known John Summerall for 12 years, 13 years, something like that. He was the head coach for 2 years whenever when we were together. Know his family, know his kids, all that kind of stuff. Know his brother, know his parents. If he's talking to me, Barry McKnight, he is really deep in depth in his research on this. He ain't calling me if he's just breezing through all of this and just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We'll call it. We'll go through the motions on this guy, because if he's all the way down to me, then he's pretty serious. And the questions he asked were, what is his relationship with Jenny? Like, Jenny's his wife. She's awesome. They are a great couple together. Can't say enough wonderful things about him. What is his relationship like with his players and stuff like that I, can provide some insight on. But if he's talking to me, he is in depth into his. So he really wanted him. And at that time, I thought that he was going to get him. I thought it was just a formality.
Yeah.
I was as surprised as anybody. And, look, everybody knows my background with Florida. I went to school there. I grew up a Gator fan and all that. My whole family's Gators, and we were, they were all pretty excited about it. I said, you're going to love him. You're going to love him. You're going to love him. What Paul was saying makes sense to me, John, that, and I'm not necessarily anything against John Cohen. I just think that something happened there where he says, I'll say it like this. I'm not sure there is the alignment there at Auburn that I want to run a championship program.
I can buy that.
That's my bet.
I think that too. I think that as well. I think there's maybe some
alignment, whatever it is, was a little bit more attractive to him than the setup he saw at Auburn. And he was in a position, John, he was in a position to choose. He was in a position of negotiating strength with both schools.
And I think maybe he did not have 100% total control of that football program. That's just a feeling I have.
Fair. That's probably valid.
That was mine.
And if you're any coach anywhere with realistic aspirations to win a championship, what John just said is the basic thing. If you are going to be hired and fired by results or lack of results, you have to have total authority on everything it takes to obtain those results.
I'm with you. Been saying it forever. We saw it in Tuscaloosa. Took him 25 years to finally hand the keys over to Nick Saban. Been saying it about Auburn. You got to let that guy run it, not other people, not outsiders.
Yeah.
Barry, also something else that I am more confident today, and I was really, really confident then, but I'm more confident today than I was even then, if you can imagine that. I went back and read a particular chapter of Rodney Orr's book, Better Than Bama, which is awesome.
Yes, it is
Bigger
a good
than
book.
Bama. You got to read it.
Yeah, Bigger Than Bama, Rodney Orr. You can get it at rodneyorr.com. I purchased it a little bit more than a year ago from Amazon. You can get it there too. And I've read it twice. It's awesome. Very interesting. Yes, very.
Well, there was a post on Tider Insider a week or so ago, as I'm just bebopping around, entitled, Since We're Talking About Old Times on TI.
I remember that chapter.
This should be good. Talks about the D'Amico Ryan story. Rodney has shared that with us here on the program before. He talks about Dennis Franchione's departure at Alabama. And then he gets in to this that really just strengthened my feeling on this. And I never doubted it from the get-go. But if you would allow me a little story time here, just to get everybody up to speed.
Okay.
This is kind of paraphrasing, but it's several lines here, so I'll try to read it quickly and concisely. The night before Rich Rodriguez was scheduled to take the Bama job, I, meaning Rodney Orr, got a call from Jimmy Sexton's office. Quote, Alabama is about to make the biggest mistake in college football history.
I remember that. I was, whoa.
Nick
I have
Saban
to read more. Yes.
Wants the job. If Bama would just wait on him to finish the season in Miami. The next morning, which was Friday, December the 8th, 2006, everybody, ESPN, etc., was reporting that Rich Rod would tell his West Virginia players at 2:30 that afternoon he was leaving for Alabama. Around 10 o'clock that morning, the source in Sexton's office called me back. Quote, I have great news. Rodriguez is staying at West Virginia. He also said that as long as Alabama doesn't screw this up, Saban would be their next coach. He strongly encouraged me to post on TI that, contrary to reports, Rich Rod had decided to stay at West Virginia. I took his advice and promptly got blasted by a few here. About 30 minutes or so after my post, ESPN reported that sources at West Virginia were growing confident that Rich Rod was having a change of heart and leaning to staying there. At 2:30, news broke that he was indeed staying put. 2 weeks later, December 21st, is when Saban made his famous comment, I'm not going to Alabama. I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. I started getting worried. Bama had botched yet another coaching search. I immediately called a former Saban assistant that I was well acquainted with. He suggested I pay no attention to what Nick said in the media. That was his way of protecting his Miami team. He assured me that in early January there would be a big press conference in Tuscaloosa that would make me very happy. He said, roll tide, and hung up. Now, we've had a lot of discussion.
Don't you say goodbye? Can you just say goodbye? See you later. Check you later. Take care, buddy. Yeah. Do you have to say roll tide? Okay. All right. This is, I remember this really well because I have every belief that every word of that is exactly true.
Me too. And we've had a lot of discussion about the interest of of Alabama's interest in Nick Saban. And Mal Moore getting a little, anxious and concerned.
A little.
But as I read that and went back and read the chapter in Bigger Than Bama, it came to me, why did Rich Rod decide to stay at West Virginia? Why did he have such a quick change of heart? Was it because he loved West Virginia? He couldn't
let go and leave his players high and dry? Or did he know Alabama wanted Nick Saban? That's who they really wanted. And Alabama just was dragging him along. Prescott, did somebody get to Rich Rod and say, Rich, we're not hiring you. You're not our man. Now,
wait a minute. I've already got a job offer. What are you talking about? You're not hiring me. You said you're hiring me.
We can play it however you want to. And if you want to just say, I'm staying here, I do not want the Alabama job, which Alabama caught some criticism. Whoa, Rich Rodriguez turns Alabama down, knowing all well that the next 2 weeks or so were going to be tough. Saban might say he's not leaving to go to Alabama, but all along they knew he was coming. Something somebody said about 20 years ago, as it was told to me 20 years ago and multiple times since then. But when I read that last week and then went back to read the book, I thought, never been more confident in my life.
That's bad faith, though, offering him the job, knowing that you really don't want him to have the job, just to be kind of a placeholder until you get the guy that you really want. Now, if I am Rich Rodriguez, those are big red flags all over the place. And John doesn't care. Red flags, who cares? Rich Rodriguez, you're thinking, wait a minute. It doesn't seem like they're being honest with me. It seems like they're lying to me. And John's like, well, they were. Big deal.
I've heard,
and if they're true, and if they are trying to hire Nick Saban, I'm going to have that black cloud hanging over my head for my entire career. Yeah, we ended up getting Rich Rodriguez, but we really wanted Saban. Man, look at what we really wanted him. Now he's at wherever. He's at Auburn or whatever.
Now, he was the head coach at one time.
Yeah.
So he had that going for him.
Yeah, he did, and he didn't do well, but I mean, he'd sit there the whole time. Rodriguez would be at Alabama at 8-4, 9-3, and everybody'd be backstabbing him because he ain't Nick Saban. We could have had Saban,
Yeah.
Look at, I can't support this guy knowing that Saban was in our back pocket.
Here's what I feel confident about.
Yeah.
Jimmy Sexton or one of his associates who called Rodney. That's not the only person they called.
They called Rodney to help form and shape public opinion on it.
Exactly. But Mal Moore knew this. They had called Mal. Mal knew Saban wanted the job, but he couldn't go a month or more, almost 6 weeks, with nothing happening. So you got to get something going.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we're Rich Rodriguez. Yeah, he's our guy. All knowing that wasn't their guy. So just did they
dragging the Rodriguez family and their futures?
Yeah.
John says, yeah, they lied. Yeah, no. They told an untruth on purpose for a month. Yeah, sure. What's your point, Barry?
Here's another scenario. I don't know why this immediately popped into my mind. Yeah, we're looking to put you guys on FM.
Just give us some time.
How many times we hear that? Yeah, sure, we're looking into it. Yeah, you FM, you guys? Yeah. Oh, yeah. They weren't any more looking into that than me and rolling into Auburn next quarter. Or semester,
putting us
whenever they're on. So, I mean, business can be a little
untruthful, a little stretchy.
It's like politics. I'm sure there's things that go on in politics that, hey, I don't care what happens to that guy. We got to get him, and we got to do whatever it takes to get him. Well, wait a minute. You're going to walk all over this guy to get him? Too bad for that guy.
Yeah. It just feels like Goodfellas or something, You tell Tommy 2 times, everything's good with the Lufthansa heist. He's fine. Everything's great. Oh.
But don't go buying a pink Cadillac and a fur coat.
Yeah, and he comes out in the fur coat, and Jimmy Conway goes crazy. Let's take a break. When we come back, it's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the river region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
So quickly before we get to the topic, Bob from Pike Road says Feinbaum's in his corner. Not going to win the national championship.
Which in Bob from Pike Road's nomenclature means that he's not the man for the job at the capstone. If you can't win the national championship, the heck with you. Get somebody who can.
It's going to be an interesting fall.
All right.
It's
going to be an interesting Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll be doing the show from Athens, Georgia, by the way, and
no way.
I'm going to have to get a little Georgia Bulldog stuff in there.
What hat are you going to wear tomorrow?
Probably a Troy hat. I've got about 4 of them in there.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so we have 6 topics. It is spinning away. A lot of grease on that wheel today. Looking like the yellow panel is where it's going.
Reclaimed. All right, what has been reclaimed here?
Ooh.
Oh, Nelly Korda. I think she's won like 3 or 4 tournaments in a row on the LPGA. Yeah. Nelly Korda. She wins over the weekend at the Chevron.
Okay.
Chevron's the thing.
And jumps in the water? No way.
Oh, I like it. Don't put the baby in the water. No.
Oh, wow. Come on.
No. Cannonballed into the pool. Pond's good for her. That's it's in California. I want to say
is this the old Dinah Shore?
I can't say for absolute certain, but I think
Does
so.
it have? If you scroll up, Gurn, and if we can, maybe you might have the town that it's that they're reporting this right there. Houston.
Houston. Okay, the Chevron. No one got closer than 4 shots over the entire weekend. Yeah. And I want to say she's won 3 in a row, 4 in a row, something like that. Very good. Have you noticed?
Is it just me, but the physique of women's golfers are different than they were 25, 30 years ago?
They're in a lot better shape. I remember you used to have nothing wrong with Nancy Lopez or anybody like that, Donnie Pepper, but these women are, Patty Berg. These women are fit. They
are fit.
Nelly Korda. Reclaim.
They are fit. Yeah.
Cola.
Yeah. Oh, that's the name of the dog.
Oh, that's the name of the dog. Corgi. I love corgis. That's Queen Elizabeth II.
No way.
Look at this.
Wait a minute.
Go Cola.
Goes down the steps on a skateboard?
Now, twice. The good thing is, it's hard for a human to do that. John and I wouldn't make one step. It's hard for a human to do that, but corgi is low to the ground. Sure. Having that low center of gravity has got to help it. But still, Cola's got to know what she's doing there.
Did you see she put the front paws on the skateboard, the back paws for propulsion?
Yeah.
Pretty smart dog.
Just like the kids in our neighborhoods. Yeah. How they do it.
Pretty smart
Kids don't skateboard like they used to. Down the street. They don't use it for transportation like they did whenever I was in college and stuff. They just do it for tricks and all that. Kids these days.
All right. 4 more to go. Yellow, red, green, and blue is what we have to work with here today.
Wait. You think Gurn Jr. is going to ignore a corgi on a skateboard on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland? No. That's should we stay or should we go now? No. This is not that clash. Oh, there's a fight. There's a fight at the very end. Jokic gets fined $50,000. McDaniel gets fined $35,000.
Look at the guy in the green sweatshirt back here, though. He's egging it on.
Now, this was at the end. The Nuggets are in trouble. That's who Jokic plays for. The Nuggets are down 3-1. This is at the end. Jokic and McDaniels, they got locked into it. It was Jokic's fault. That's why he got the bigger fine, because he said that other guy was still playing hard even though the game was basically over. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with that? You're throwing punches at a guy for playing hard, making millions of dollars? All right, the game was decided, and the guy was still defending and still trying to get a steal and everything. Yeah, Jokic was going after him, and
I love the fan.
He lays it in. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
When this fan back here, look at this guy on the green with his hands up, and he starts talking over here.
Yeah, we'll say this. I've seen Nikola Jokic. He's from Serbia.
Hit him. What are you doing? Hit that guy.
You don't want to mess with Jokic. You don't want to mess with his brothers. His brothers are as big as he is. Yeah. And I'm telling you, they're from Serbia, John. It ain't like they're going to be, sitting there and saying, oh, yeah, well, right back at you, buddy. No, they're going to be going for you. I mean, those guys, they had a fight one time. They're coming out of the stands. It's like 15 people apiece.
Yeah.
To get the Jokic's brothers. Those Serbians, don't mess with them, people.
They don't play.
Yeah. All right.
That's a good one. Love a good fight in the NBA.
Yeah, right at the very end, just because one of them was mad at the other one for scoring at the end of a game.
All right.
Already covered.
Dog days. Wonder what this could be about. Dogs, maybe?
As opposed to hog days. Yeah.
Oh, look at this guy. He's got a dog collar
Chip
on.
Carey used to be the Braves announcer. It's like Bark in the Park or Dog Days at the Park or something like that. They have it at the Biscuits game and the college games. Purina Pooches in the Ballpark. This is the one where, you can have your dogs come in. They had one of those this weekend in Texas. My buddy Chuck took his dog Putter, that kind of a thing. I do it and everything. The dogs got to go in. There's two things that they do at the park, Bark in the Park I don't like. One of them is forcing the announcers to wear those cones of shame whenever a dog gets fixed. The other thing is every once in a while they get real cute up in the press box with the sound effects, and they'll play a doorbell.
Oh,
and you got 15,000 dogs losing their minds out there on. No, don't do that.
Couple of things that stick out to me here. Obviously, another gimmick by baseball to get people to come to the games, anything to get them to come. And number two, if the Braves were so great, why did Chip Carey leave? I mean, would you not want to announce the team that's the greatest in baseball? No, he's going to announce some, 500 type St. Louis Cardinal team. Doesn't make a lick of sense. I know his grandfather was the voice of the Cardinals at one time. So what?
If they offered John the raise that Chip Carey got for the Cardinals, and he's from St. Louis. His dad was a Braves announcer, but his grandfather was an icon in St. Louis. That square right there would be so empty in a matter of about 10 seconds that you would forget. I mean, you would actually see John's glasses suspended in midair for 2 seconds before dropping straight down. He would leave. So
if
fast.
John Cohen called me,
what do you think he left?
If John Cohen called me today and said, "Hey, we're going to give you, 1.2 to come over here and run the Greater Auburn Foundation,"
yeah, those earbuds would rip out of his ears so fast. That's why Chip Carey went. Okay, Bark in the Park, that's a good one. Dog Days.
Blue.
Don't ring the doorbell in the sound effects at the stadium on Bark in the Park. This looks like good company.
Good company. Three's company.
As opposed to bad company. I watched this game last night. This was the game on the bus between Huntington, West Virginia, and Greenville, South Carolina. Peyton Pritchard. He was filling it up. They interviewed him at halftime of that game last night. Celtics win big by like 32 or 38.
Wait a minute. This guy comes off the bench and pumps in 30?
He had 18 at halftime, and nobody was guarding. He hit like 4 out of 5 threes at halftime, and nobody was guarding him. I'm thinking, hey, you might want to pick up the white kid with the buzz cut.
Unreal.
The other thing that struck me about that game last night, and I watched the NBA some, but there's guys out there. I'm thinking, it's like Pat Talladega. I'm thinking, who in the heck is Peyton Pritchard?
are these people?
Who is that big, tall, geeky guy, the foreign guy playing center for the Celtics? Who are these guys?
See,
these are NBA players, and I'm thinking, who in the world is this?
Watch more NBA. It's awesome.
Peyton
All right, one more to
Pritchard.
go, I believe, to make it official. It is the blue panel. It will be the last one. We'll spin it, and I believe it's going to be mic drop once it stops. Yes. And who dropped the mic this weekend?
Oh, Mike Tomlin. He is going to be on with NBC Football Night in America, or what they called. 19 years with the Steelers. The new head coach is Mike McCarthy. Because of their lack of playoff decision, he said, I thought it was a good time for the organization. We didn't have a lot of success in the playoffs in recent years and everything. Look, Tomlin, you see him on the sidelines for the Steelers. He's got the shades on. He's got the ball cap pulled down low. He's got the hoodie. He always looks as though he has no emotion whatsoever. I'm going to call it right here because I've seen interviews with Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is going to be great.
I think so, too.
At that job.
Yeah, I think
great.
so.
Not just good, great.
I think he's going to be really good.
Yes.
Right,
I'm looking forward to that.
To our guest, Paul Feinbaum, today. If you missed any of our program, you can watch it anytime you like on your schedule. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Spotify, iTunes, Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com, the Yellowhammer News Facebook page. Tomorrow, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. We have got Travis Ryer on YouTube, and we have Tom Luganville from ESPN, one of their fine college football analysts.
One of our favorites for sure. For our guest, Paul Feinbaum, today, and our producer, Gurn Jr., I'm Barry McKnight with John Longshore. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.